Hi, and welcome to the Den. It's Saturday, and I am your host, Eric, and I'm here to talk to you about the problem with poly. Polyamory is the love of many people. You are allowed to love a number of people in ways that you and your partners approve and agree upon. So, what's the problem? Love, everybody loves, everybody's all in a good space, right? Not always. Monogamy is really fucking simple. You have one person, and you put those two people together, and you have a relationship, and that's the end of the story. Unless you're a cheater, and then you're a fucking cheater. Polyamory, on the other hand, can take an infinite variety of configurations. Polyamory could be 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, people that are kind of connected in weird configurations of clusters that kind of are together in like co-housing, co-living situations. Or they could just be, like a triad of people that all love each other in a triangle. It could be, I love you and you love me and you love me and then we are all together. Or it could be, I love you and you, but you don't love each other. Or it could be, I love you, and I love you, and you love this other person, and you love this other person, and maybe that works, and maybe it doesn't work. It's so complicated. You need, sociograms and plotting software to kind of map out the constellations of relationships that people happen to be in. And people have done that. Here's an example. This is a relationship flowchart from a self-described polyamorous tribe. This group of people did a Reddit AMA, and they mapped out the wild configurations of their relationships, plural. You can see that there are 4 people in the center in this kind of nucleus relationship. There are about 7 people surrounding them in that red zone, and then there's another dozen people in these bubbles on the outside in the yellow zone. And one of the really hilarious things that's in this chart is that it says that we didn't put the kind of temporary relationships in there because that would just be too crazy. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is already crazy! But beyond the fact that you need, software to analyze relationship diagrams, beyond that, there are so many other factors that are involved in the ways that people interplay with each other that it creates this bizarre overlapping Venn diagram. And I'm going to show that to you in this voiceover. What in the fuck is this? This is a Venn diagram of all of the crazy shit that can happen when you get involved in polyamory. We've got open relationships, polyamorous relationships, religious social polygamy, we've got polymono relationships, you got some dating around, maybe some cheating, sometimes you pay to play, sometimes you got some BDSM, dom, sub, non-monogamy, there's don't ask, don't tell, it's okay if it's 100 miles away, or maybe if it's at a con, maybe it's a swinging scene, maybe it's just casual sex. Maybe it's open swinging, soft swinging, close swinging. Who the fuck can deal with all of this? It's so confusing. God. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. Another big complication is the friend zone. So when you're in a poly relationship, sometimes people just think that you're always on. But that's not always true. Sometimes you don't want to have sex with everybody that you know. Sometimes you just want to have sex with some of the people that you like. And sometimes you want to have sex with people that are not even necessarily your friends, but people that you find attractive. And sometimes you want to develop longer-term relationships with some of these people. Maybe they started as friends and maybe now they're lovers. Maybe they were lovers and maybe now they're friends. So things change and balances shift, and there are sometimes people just are in that box, or you're just over there in the friend zone. Sometimes it's really unclear what's the friend zone and what's the friends with benefits zone and what's the I'm falling in love with you zone. And oh, now we're in a relationship. There's this whole vast spectrum of things that could possibly happen and often do. If you're considering polyamory, just know that it's not super easy. It can be incredibly complicated, and it can take you a lot of time and energy to talk it out and figure out between you and your co-partners or other people in your relationship what you want your boundaries to be, and what you feel comfortable with and what they feel comfortable with, and negotiating those lines, because all of this is really about constant communication and negotiation. It is problematic because it involves so much more work. When people get together in their little duads, and they just, are madly in love with each other, and that's the end of the story. That's so awesome, but, it also cuts you off from a lot of other possibilities. So while that's great for those two people, it may not work for everybody. So the only reason why I have a problem with poly is just because it's so much goddamn work, and being able to constantly negotiate those boundaries with every single person that you meet and find attractive and are friends with or are interested in any number of varieties of ways, that can get really, really, really overwhelming. A friend of mine actually calls it polysaturation, which I think is a hilarious term. It's like, when is the threshold of too many people to be in a relationship with? There does come a time where you're just like, this is crazy. and then there are other times where you're just kind of like going with the flow, and everything is great and everything is wonderful. But complications happen, people change, hearts change. So being able to be integrated into that flow of constant love and attention to the people in your life is at one time very satisfying, and yet at the other times it's also deeply frustrating. I'm not saying that poly is bad. I am poly myself. I'm just saying poly is complicated, and if you're gonna go there, be prepared. So that's my video for this week, the problem with poly. If you like this video, go down and click the subscribe button. If you have a problem with what I said, put it down in the comments. If you want to tell me what your problem is, you go down and you tell me in the comments. And if you want to follow us, join the den, join the discussion, go to our Facebook page. You can join us on Twitter or Instagram or Tumblr or any number of other places where the men of the den are hanging out. So go find us, subscribe to our things. And if you want to get one of these awesome Ride the Slut t-shirts, I'll put a link down in the description. If the place still exists, I think that they do. And you too can get a Ride the Slut t-shirt. It's the South Lake Union trolley, if that was not visible in the video, which I don't think it was until probably just this moment. But yes, it is an actual trolley. It does exist. They changed the name because they didn't realize what the acronym would be. And on that note, I will see you all laters.